We have here a 2001 Volkswagen Jetta, and the customer's complaint is that the AC doesn't work. Let's make some checks on it and figure it out for her. Okay, we've got the blower on full blast, AC on, recirculate on. Temperature gauge here, 104. It's a hot day here today. But the compressor is on and spinning. And here's our gauges. 110 on the low side, 175 on the high side. Low side should be much lower, high side should be much higher. The compressor's job is to suck this down low and to blow or pressurize the high side much higher. So the compressor isn't doing its job. But this compressor has a Freon control valve inside of it, and we've had a lot of luck replacing that Freon control valve when the compressor isn't doing its job. I was taught, and I teach my employees, that a compressor's job is to suck and blow, and that helps me to remember what it's supposed to do. So I've talked it over with the customer, and we have decided to put a Freon control valve in it. Obviously there's a chance that the compressor is no good, but I've yet to run into that when it behaves like this. So we can give it a good visual inspection when we take the compressor apart in order to put the Freon control valve in it. So if we might have to change our recommendation at that point after we do a visual inspection inside the compressor. But at this point we're going to try a Freon control valve and see if that fixes it. Change the machine to recover. Push enter. Open panel valves. And now that it's drawn down into vacuum, you can close the panel valves, exit out. Release the tension on this belt and then pin it. The lower bolt can be removed without putting the car on jack stands or putting it up on the rack, but it's just easier for me to put it on the rack. The other bolt for this line right here is really hard to get to, so I'm going to remove the compressor to make it a little bit easier, and then remove that bolt that retains that line. Just removing the screw that holds the connector on. And that's the cover. And right there is the Freon control valve. So we got it all back together, and pressure's much more what I would expect on today. Low down to 40, high up to 350, but I did notice we got a fan that's not working. That fan's not working, but that one is. That fan's not working, but that one is. So the high side pressure would probably be a little bit lower if we had that fan working. Let's take a look at the temperature. .69 and still dropping. And after revving the engine for a while, we're at 62 and still dropping. Probably out on the highway where we had some better airflow, or if we had that fan working, this would cool much better than this. And we have really high pressure right now after revving the engine, 400 on the high side. We need to get that fan working. Now have a working fan. Pressure's much lower on the high side. And temperature down to about 54 degrees. Sitting in the bay. That's pretty good. Cruising down the road, that would be even better. Just got back from the road test, and we're cooling down to 45.9. And it feels good. The shop is so hot today. If you want to see more of these videos, give me a like and subscribe, and visit my website at www.kansascitytdi.com.